I am not a manifestation channel. I'm not here to tell you how to attract your dream life in 3 steps or journal your way into a yacht. I'm just your existential friend. And I want to talk to you about the weirdness of life, the oddities, the in between spaces, the stuff we all kind of feel but never say out loud. And maybe somewhere in all of that, you'll see a little piece of yourself too. So pull up a chair, imagine it creaking a little like it's been waiting for you. The fire's already going, the room is quiet. You made it. Now, let's have a chat. I have always been a little weird. I would have conversations with myself, but not in the way that you think, like having a conversation with yourself because you're mad at your boss or you lost your car keys. I would have like full blown conversations with imaginary people. I would just make them up. In fact, I don't know if I really even gave them a name or who it was specifically, even female or male. I don't know. But I would just have these conversations and I would pretend that they would talk back, or sometimes I would even put the voice to them and give me the answers back as someone else. So I guess you can say I've always been good with imagination. So, weird or not, it must have helped me manifest some pretty interesting things through imagination. So, my story begins by the use of this, by these powers that I've had where I get a little weird and I can hold that for a while. Like when you're a little kid and you're just playing pretend. I once had this beat up Mitsubishi. It had manual windows, no power locks, some dents I never bothered to fix, but I treated that thing like a Bentley. I can't even tell you why I did it. I just did. I just treated it perfect. I detailed it like it mattered. I changed the oil on time. I even had an air freshener that made it smell wonderful. So everything about the car was as perfect as I can make it be. And at night, it became a friend of mine. In the summer nights, I would take it out for a drive, and I would roll down all the windows by myself, might I add, because they were manual, and I would drive through town and blast music, and I would pretend that I was driving a convertible. I can't tell you why I picked a convertible. I guess it just sounded like a fun type of car to have. I didn't have a specific convertible in mind. I just thought, wow, this would be fun to be driving a convertible. So I would just pretend while the wind was rushing through my hair from an open rooftop. And I believed it. I wasn't just wishing, I guess I was just being. And somehow, through a chain of events in the next year or two, I ended up landing a job that paid pretty good. And I was living at home at the time. And I had a little bit more money. And I ended up being on a car lot one day, not looking for me, there with a friend, and there it was, a convertible sitting right there. And it was like love at first sight. I saw it, and it was like it picked me. I didn't pick it, it picked me. So of course I'm like, well, now I got to test drive it. And again, I got approved. And if you really knew my story at the time, my credit wasn't perfect. I still had a lot of debt. This will all come into play later, by the way. But somehow I got approved, and I drove it off the lot within an hour. But here's the part I didn't see coming, and this is where it gets interesting. And I'd like to share it with you because I want to know if you've dealt with the same things as well. But I had manifested the thing, but I hadn't upgraded the person behind the wheel. So it was very easy to manifest the thing. I can manifest things very quickly. In fact, I bet you can too. It's very easy. But if you don't change as a person, it's just like you have more things, but you're the same person. So it's like, when someone, you watch those lottery shows, the lottery fails, like all the people that win the lottery, but like a huge percentage, I don't know the percentage, but a lot of them end up broke again. It's right because they haven't changed. So they just have more things, and then eventually their things run out because they're supposed to be broke because they never changed who they were. So that's what happened to me. I got the car, but then I got a little weirdly possessive of it. I'd panic if someone parked too close to me. I'd check for scratches all the time. I was worried about losing it before I even got to enjoy it. And that energy, that fear, it vibrates and it calls things in. And when you're in the middle of it, you don't realize it. I just started thinking all these weird, bad things were happening to me. So, of course, within the year of driving it, someone ran a stop sign and T boned me and hit my car. And it was thousands of dollars worth of damage. That, of course, thankfully she had insurance, but the car was never the same after I got it fixed. The door never quite shut right. If you've ever been in a major car accident, the paint is never quite the same. And obviously, the resale value is not going to be there. But the weird thing is, it didn't end there. I must have not changed at that point. I wasn't watching the world as an observer. I was still in the character, and more things started to happen to that car. I ended up um, backing it in to a fire hydrant myself on a snowy day because I didn't see the fire hydrant. It was snowing. And I backed that thing up so fast and damaged the back of it. But again, it didn't end there. I went to visit a friend out of town. I parked the car on the street in the city, and somebody had cut my convertible top with a knife. And the weird thing is, there was someone that had a convertible on that same street, and that convertible was nicer than mine. And I know what you're thinking. I must have had something in my car, right? No, nothing was in my car. There was nothing visible for someone to cut the knife to take something. Maybe they tried to steal it. I don't know. But now I'm left with the cut cloth convertible. And I just didn't, at this point, want to spend the money on the insurance to fix all of these things. But there was one more time. I was at a family party, parked in somebody's driveway, and my cousin, who was parked in front of me, instead of coming inside and saying, "Hey, can you move your car? I gotta leave," decides to try and get around my car. And he drove a big pickup truck at the time and backed his pickup truck right into the front. So now I had damage on the top of my car. I had damage in the front of my car. I had damage on the back of my car. And then, of course, it was already in the accident. So, what the hell happened? Looking back, it wasn't about the car. It was never about the car. The car was easy. It was about who I was becoming, or maybe not becoming. I thought I was chasing freedom, confidence, peace, but I wasn't actually embodying those things. I was the same person, still stuck in fear, ego, scarcity, and the universe gave me what I was actually vibrating. I just had the car. That's why I always get weary of when people try to, you watch podcasts and YouTube channels and, everyone's telling you how to manifest a job, manifest an SP. Yeah, those things are easy, guys. Those are easy. I just told you how I did it. You visualize what you want, and then you ignore the 3D as if you had it, right? I rolled down all the windows, I drove at night, and I just pretended it was a convertible. And it took a year or two, but it came to me, and but I never changed. After that, I went through 4 years I now call the desert of my mind, much like the Bible, where they were roaming around for 40 years in the desert, right? And metaphorically, it's just roaming around and you can get out, but you're just in your mind going and going and doing the same thing over and over. Nothing worked. Everything stalled. I was mad, confused, bitter because I thought I did everything right, right? I got the car, I had the job, but it all went back. I won the lottery ticket, but I lost it all. But that was the real initiation because getting what you want doesn't mean anything if you haven't become someone who can hold it. That's why I'm talking to you today, because I'm wondering if everyone else or anyone else, I'm wondering if anybody else has done this, has manifested something. And a lot of times they're like, oh, don't be so specific, or you should be very specific. And, you get all these different things, but everybody's different. It's easy to get something. So maybe you feel lost right now, and maybe the thing you're manifesting hasn't arrived yet. Or maybe it has, and it's unraveling right in front of you like a cheap sweater, just like me. Either way, I just want to tell you something I wish I told me. You're not broken. You're just between identities. The old version of you doesn't fit anymore, but the new version isn't fully here yet, right? And that in between place, that's actually sacred ground. You don't need to fix anything tonight. You don't need a 5-step plan. You just need a fire and a chair and someone to sit with you in the weirdness. And that's why I'm here. I will tell you what happened after those 4 years another time. But for now, let's just sit with this together and try and figure it out together. I'm curious if you have a similar story, a similar situation that we can talk about, that we can get through together. Because I have a feeling I'm not the only weird person in the world. I'm your existential friend, and I'm not going anywhere.